The Zephyrian War Council had spent 3 rotations studying the intelligence reports on the newest species to join the Galactic Federation. Humans, they called themselves, a bipedal race from the 3rd planet of an unremarkable yellow star system, recently discovered by a routine trade vessel. "Primitive," declared Admiral Vexthul, his chitinous claws clicking against the holographic display. No natural armor, no venomous appendages, no psionic abilities. Their maximum recorded speed is barely 15 units per hour. General Kretar nodded, her 6 eyes analyzing the biological data streams. Fragile bone structure, thin skin, vulnerable organs exposed. They require precisely balanced atmospheric conditions to survive. 1 degree of temperature variance and they begin to malfunction. Their reaction times are sluggish, added Commander Zeloke. It takes them nearly 200 milliseconds to process visual stimuli. Our warriors respond in 40. The War Council had good reason for their confidence. The Zephyrians had conquered 14 star systems in the past century, each time through careful biological analysis of their enemies' weaknesses. They were methodical, precise, and had never encountered a species they couldn't dominate once they understood their physiology. The humans have only recently achieved interstellar travel, Admiral Vexthul continued. Their technology is crude, their military tactics basic. The Federation Council believes they can be diplomatically persuaded to cede their territory. General Kretar's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among her species. "And if diplomacy fails? Then we demonstrate why biological superiority matters." The invasion fleet departed 3 days later. Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Defiance watched the Zephyrian dreadnoughts emerge from hyperspace, like dark omens against the star field. 50 vessels, each one the size of a small city, bristling with weapons that could crack a planet's crust. "Captain," reported her XO Lieutenant Commander Torres, "they're hailing us on all frequencies." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Admiral Vexthul's intimidating form. His species stood nearly 3 meters tall, with reinforced exoskeletons that could deflect small arms fire, and claws capable of tearing through reinforced steel. "Human vessel," Vexthul's voice resonated through the bridge translated by the universal communicator. "You will surrender your territory to the Zephyrian Empire. Your species lacks the biological advantages necessary for survival in this galaxy. Submit and your deaths will be swift." Captain Chen looked around her bridge. 23 humans, average height 1.7 meters, no natural weapons, no armor save what they wore. She thought of her daughter back on Earth, just starting university. She thought of her crew's families, their dreams, their stubborn refusal to accept that humanity didn't belong among the stars. "Admiral," Chen replied, standing straighter, "you seem to have misunderstood something fundamental about human physiology." "Impossible. Our biological analysis is complete." Chen smiled, and something in that expression made several bridge officers shift uncomfortably. "You studied our resting state. You never asked what happens when we're threatened." The first shots came 30 seconds later. The battle should have been over in minutes. The Zephyrians had superior numbers, advanced shields, and weapons that outclassed human technology by centuries. Their warriors were stronger, faster, and better protected. But something was going wrong. General Kretar watched in growing confusion as human fighters performed maneuvers that should have killed their pilots instantly. The G-forces alone should have liquefied their internal organs, yet they kept coming, pulling turns that defied their own physiological limitations. "Impossible," she hissed. "Their bone density can't support this kind of stress." On her command ship's tactical display, she watched a human pilot, callsign Raptor, thread his fighter through a debris field at velocities that made her secondary heart skip beats. The human was pulling 17 Gs in a craft that looked like it had been assembled in someone's garage. "General," her sensor operator's voice was tight with disbelief. "The human captain's ship just took a direct hit from a plasma torpedo. No shields, minimal armor. The blast should have vaporized the bridge." "Status of the human command vessel?" "Still firing, General. In fact, they're accelerating toward our flagship." Captain Chen felt the blood flowing back to her brain as the artificial gravity compensators struggled to keep up. Her vision cleared, the red tunnel narrowing back to normal sight. Around her, her crew was moving with the fluid precision of humans in crisis. That peculiar state where pain became irrelevant and impossible became merely difficult. "Damage report," she called out, wiping blood from a cut above her eye. "Hull breach on Deck 7. Engines at 60%, Torres reported. But we're still in the fight. The thing the Zephyrians didn't understand about human physiology was that they had only studied humans in peaceful conditions. They had measured human strength while humans were relaxed, human speed while humans were comfortable, human endurance while humans felt safe. They had never seen what happened when humanity's most ancient survival mechanisms activated. Chen's heart was pumping nearly 200 beats per minute, flooding her system with adrenaline and norepinephrine. Her liver was converting stored glycogen to glucose at emergency rates. Her muscles were operating at 30% above normal capacity, and her brain was processing information with the crystalline clarity that came only when death was 3 seconds away and closing fast. Every human on her ship was experiencing the same transformation. "Target their command vessel," Chen ordered. "All power to forward weapons." Admiral Vexthul realized too late that the biological reports had been catastrophically incomplete. The humans weren't operating within normal physiological parameters anymore. Somehow, impossibly, their bodies were exceeding every limitation the Zephyrian scientists had catalogued. A human boarding party had somehow breached his flagship's hull. His security feeds showed them moving through corridors that should have incapacitated them with toxic atmosphere, fighting his warriors hand-to-hand despite being outweighed by 200 kilograms. "How are they not dead?" he demanded of his science officer. "Admiral, I'm reading impossible biometric data. Their muscle tension is off the scale. Their reaction times have decreased to 50 milliseconds, and somehow their pain receptors appear to have shut down." On the tactical display, more human ships were arriving. Not just military vessels, but converted cargo haulers, civilian craft jury-rigged with weapons, even what appeared to be a modified luxury yacht bristling with missile pods. "They're fighting like they're already dead," whispered General Kretar. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, the Zephyrian invasion fleet was scattered debris among the stars. Of the humans who fought that day, 40% were casualties. They should have been 100%. In the aftermath, as rescue ships pulled survivors from wrecked vessels, Admiral Vexthul found himself in a human medical bay. His exoskeleton cracked, his pride shattered. The human medic treating him was a small female, barely 1.6 meters tall, who had somehow survived her ship's explosion and 6 hours in hard vacuum. "I don't understand," Vexthul said. "Our analysis was perfect. Your species should not have been capable of such performance." The medic looked up from her scanner, her eyes still carrying that peculiar flat intensity that humans developed in combat. "You studied us in peacetime," she said simply. "You never learned what we become when someone threatens our family." She returned to her work, humming softly to herself as she repaired the wounds of an enemy who had come to destroy everything she loved. Vexthul lay back and wondered what other civilizations in the galaxy had made the same mistake his people just had. Somewhere in his pain-clouded mind, he began to understand why humans were already being whispered about in the darker corners of galactic space, not as the weak newcomers everyone had assumed, but as something far more dangerous, something that refused to die.